On May 16th, while Gorbachev continued his discussions with the Chinese leadership, 300,000 people marched in the streets of Beijing. On the 17th, and again on the 18th, that number rose to 1 million people.
I went to the square every day after May 15th because a lot of students from my university were taking part in the hunger strike. I went there to help them with logistics and run errands. I also took part in the picket line to ensure that the ambulances could move freely.
The students had been on a hunger strike for nearly a week, and still the government paid no attention to them. We said, "What bastards! Any son of a bitch would have acted better than Deng Xiaoping or Li Peng."
Moderate government leaders tried to defuse the mounting crisis. The official media was allowed to report sympathetically on the hunger strike. Emergency medical teams were sent in to ensure the health of the hunger strikers. Actions like these suggested that the party line was shifting and nobody wanted to be left on the wrong side. Local party leaders and managers started permitting their workers to go to Tiananmen to show support for the students. Organized contingents started showing up carrying the banners of their workplaces. To participate now was beginning to look not only right, but safe. The spectacle was overwhelming and highly photogenic. The foreign press in Beijing to cover the Sino-Soviet summit walked into the biggest international media story ever reported out of China.
What a place, what a time, what a story. It's Friday morning here, and this is Tiananmen Square. Today, it's the People's Square, all right. More than 1 million Chinese demanding democracy and freedom and proclaiming the new revolution.
Unbelievable. We all came here to cover a summit, and we walked into a revolution.
It's a great feeling to get the attention of tens of thousands of people. Before the movement, the students had been very depressed. All of a sudden, they were at center stage. People needed them. They felt a heroic sense of being able to change history. This feeling was a boost to their egos and whet their appetites for more.
There's never been a generation like ours, one that mocked the state, mocked the government, mocked the leaders. And there's never been a generation that has seen that the outside world is so beautiful. Sui Jian is China's most famous singer. His song, Nothing to My Name, expresses our feelings. Does our generation have anything? We don't have the goals our parents had. We don't have the fanatical idealism our older brothers and sisters once had.
The noise of gunfire rose from all over the center of Peking. It was unremitting. On the streets leading down to the main road to Tiananmen Square, Furious people stared in disbelief at the glow in the sky, listening to the sound of shots. Heading down the road was a hazardous business, but hundreds of people cheered as buses were set alight and army trucks caught fire too. They yelled and shouted, and then as troop lorries were seen moving down the road, there was gunfire from those lorries.
The troops have been firing indiscriminately, but still there are thousands of people on the streets who will not move back.
The bicycle rickshaws scooped up the injured, others were shunted onto bikes and pedaled to hospital. Many were carried away by frantic local residents. There was confusion and despair among those who could hardly credit that their own army was firing wildly at them. Many were bystanders, perhaps naive about the savagery of the situation. Indeed, it was hard at times to grasp that this army was launching into an unarmed civilian population as if charging into battle. From Tiananmen Square, the sound of gunfire sounded like a battle, but it was one-sided. A line of soldiers was strung out facing a huge crowd. The air was filled with shouts of "Fascists! Stop killing!" We were in the line facing the troops. They were about 250 yards away. Young people were singing the Internationale to a background of gunfire.
After hours of shooting and facing a line of troops, the crowd is still here. They're shouting, "Stop the killing and down with the government."
A huge volley of shots just as I left the front line caused panic. The young man in front of me fell dead. I fell over him. 2 others were killed yards away. 2 more people lay wounded on the ground near me. Ambulances screamed up to the troop line and were turned away. They couldn't get to the square. 2 ambulance drivers were shot and injured. Earlier, we'd been driving at the back of the Forbidden City, the old part of Peking, near the square. We picked up a woman with a bullet in the head and took her to the nearby children's hospital, into a scene of near mayhem. Casualties were arriving every few seconds. On bikes, rickshaws, park benches, carried in. All with gunshot wounds. Housewives, elderly residents, people shot while sitting in their homes. The operating theatre was overflowing, many of the staff in tears. In 20 minutes, 40 seriously injured were brought for emergency surgery. 2 were already dead. In the streets, many came up to us, shaking with anger and disbelief and fear. Many were terrified, saying there would be retribution. There was not one voice on the streets which did not express despair and rage. "Tell the world," they said to us.